closing our eyes. So find yourself in a comfortable seated fold. It's early on, so if you want to put some pillows between your legs or a pillow under your butt as we're getting started, that's good too. We're gonna just start to bring our intention inside. You might hear some soundtrack from my dog in the background. I apologize in advance. But just try and detach from the day. We wanna just take some breaths and start to bring our awareness into the room. While you're focusing on your breath, I'll introduce myself. So my name's Kirby Matthews. And I met Hannah through dog sitting, through a wonderful dog trainer. And we both have a love and passion for yoga. She mentioned that she's been doing this for a while, and I'm so happy to become a part of this and to be able to guide you through today and to be able to just give you a space to get in tune with how you're feeling, what feels good. I'll always do my best to cue modifications, but if there's anything that doesn't feel right, just pull out of that pose. Use your blocks when you can. We always want to be about mobility and accessibility. So with that in mind, we'll go into today's practice doing the best we can and showing up on the mat for wherever we're at within our practice today. So take a few more breaths in and start to engage your Ujjayi breath. So you want to constrict the back of your throat. You're going to be breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. And start to just roll your head from side to side, rolling out all those crinks in your neck. You can feel all the soundtrack of your ligaments and tendons kind of as you roll around. Be really gentle. We're just warming up here. Then maybe switch to the other side, roll it back and forth. We're gonna start to move our wrists, and we're just really starting to wake up all those joints and ligaments that we're gonna be using today. So maybe you're flexing your fingers and moving all your wrists, and start to roll your shoulders. And then maybe do them forward. And maybe twist gently from side to side. We're gonna find our way onto our hands and knees in a tabletop position. So you want your hands shoulder distance apart underneath you and your knees hip distance apart underneath you. And start to just rock back and forth. We're just, again, starting to wake up our wrists here. This is a good time to remind you that when we are on our wrists today doing chaturangas or being in down dog, you want to make sure that you're engaging your hands so all that weight isn't going on your wrist. So always make sure that you create that pocket kind of where you're engaging your fingertips and you have that pocket of air between the palm of your hand so that you're distributing your weight when you're upside down in those positions. This protects the wrist, but it also allows you to get deeper into some of those postures when you have that balance, when you have that counter position of those fingers pulling back against that. Turn your hands at a 90-degree angle here and start to rock side to side. You can have a micro bend in your elbows here so that you can protect yourself as you're going back and forth. Again, we're just waking things up. And even flip your hands around if that feels comfortable and just rock back and forth, stretching out that under forearm there. Go ahead and reset back into tabletop. On our next inhale, we're gonna raise that right arm to the sky. Let your gaze follow. And then thread that needle. Take your right arm and put it under your left arm, laying your right ear to the mat. Go ahead and take that left hand and put that on your sacrum and make sure your hips are squared to the back of the room. And then you go ahead and take that half bind, trying to reach for your inside of your right thigh. Or you can put that hand back out, extending it in front of you and letting that shoulder stretch as you pull that shoulder down away from your ears. If you are doing that half bind, let your gaze follow up to the sky. This is Marco. On your next inhale, plant that hand back down. Extend that right arm up to the sky to reset. And come back down into tabletop. Inhale that left arm high. And go ahead and thread that needle, left arm under your right arm, letting that left ear fall to the ground. Put your right arm to your hips, square your hips to the back of the room, and then reach around to grab onto that inner left thigh, or extend that arm out in front of you, stretching that shoulder down away from your ear. Really bring awareness into your breath, inhaling through your nose, constricting in the back of that throat as you exhale through your nose. On your next inhale, plant that right hand down, unthread that needle, extend that left arm to the sky, and plant back down into tabletop. Inhale as your gaze follows to the sky, arching your back as you inhale into cow. And then as you exhale, round that spine, nose to navel, tucking that tailbone, breathing into that back side body. Inhale once more, move into that cow position, arching that back, inhaling, letting that gaze follow to the sky. And exhale, round your spine, nose to navel, tuck that tailbone. Feel your breath expand those back ribs. Do that a few more times to your own breath. And then on your next inhale, start to move side to side, breathing into that left and right side body. So you're sending your breath into those areas as you're stretching them out. And finally, open your hips a little bit wider and sit down oh, my brain. Go into child's pose here. Let your hips sink down. Stretch your arms out. Pull your shoulders down away from your ears. And start to extend your arms to the right side, breathing into that left side body. Inhale over to the left side, breathing into that right side body. Feel yourself inhale as you fill your cup and exhale as you release the tension from your body. Put your arms back to center and bend your hands in a prayer position and let that arms pull down away from your ears so you can feel that stretch through your back. Plant your hands about shoulder distance apart, flip your feet, and we're gonna kick up into our downward facing dog. This is our first time upside down, so get yourself set up. Make sure you get any wiggles out. Again, you wanna make sure that you're engaging those fingertips, creating that pocket, protecting your wrist. Twist your arms open, twisting your shoulders away from your ears and engaging, pushing away from the earth. You wanna twist and lead with your hips towards the back of the room. And just breathe, take a couple breaths. You can pedal it out as you need to. On your next inhale, take as tiny of steps forward as possible as you can. We'll meet in ragdoll. Let yourself hang here. You can interlace your hands on your elbows. You can interlace your hands behind your neck, giving yourself a gentle pull, a gentle sway. Or you can go ahead and take your arms and interlace them behind you, pulling your shoulders away from your ears, and then letting those arms fall open, twisting from side to side. Gently release your arms down if you were in that position. Inhale as you rise to a halfway lift. So again, if it's not comfortable to have your hands on the ground, you can place your hands on your shins or on a block in front of you. It's more important that we have a flat back in this position. So when you go up into a half lift, you want to engage your back, pulling your shoulders together down away from your ears. You have that flat back, and then you lead with your hips to the sky. You can feel an imaginary string pulling your head to the room in equal opposition as your hips leading to the back space. And forward fold, let it go. Inhale, rise vertebrae by vertebrae, gently come up to mountain pose. Roll your shoulders down away from your ears, tuck your tailbone, ground your feet. We're gonna get started with some sun A's. Inhale as your arms rise, let your gaze follow through your thumbs. And exhale, forward fold with a flat back. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, lower down into a plank position, or your chaturanga, your vinyasa. So I'm going to cue first the full chaturanga, and then I'll cue some of the modifications here, but you can always drop down to your knees. You want to lean forward over the balls of your feet so that you're slightly over your shoulders, keeping your elbows tucked. Lower down halfway, flip those feet, and then lead with your heart as you pull forward, inhaling into upward facing dog. Your legs are engaged. And exhale, leading with your hips, downward facing dog. Inhale through your nose for 3, and exhale through your mouth, let it out. Inhale through your nose, take time to reset your position here in downward dog, and exhale through your mouth. Seal your lips on this next one. Inhale through your nose, and exhale through your nose. Inhale, come up to your tippy toes. And as you exhale, look forward, step, hop, or jump to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, pulling those shoulders away from your ears, flat back, leading in equal opposition. And forward fold. Inhale, arms rise, mountain pose. And exhale, arms at side, Samatitihi. We're gonna do it once more, breath to movement. Inhale, arms rise, mountain pose. Let your gaze follow. And exhale, forward fold with a flat spine. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, lower down, chaturanga or your vinyasa. This time I'll cue a mod. You can drop to your knees, keeping those elbows tucked. And then instead of pushing into upward facing dog, you're gonna inhale into cobra, leading with that neck, engaging that lower spine. And then exhale, push yourself up into a plank or in tabletop and back down into downward facing dog. Inhale for 3. And exhale for 3. Inhale, rise to your tippy toes. And exhale, look forward, step, hop, jump, front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms rise. And exhale, arms at side. Take a breath here, shake out your legs, retuck that tailbone and ground your feet. On your next inhale, we're gonna move into a chair pose. Sit back on your feet, put that weight into your heels so that you can lift your toes, and then feel that flat spine as your arms lift and your gaze follows. Inhale, forward fold, let yourself hang. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, downward, step back into plank, lower down, chaturanga or your vinyasa. You can always skip these and we'll end up back in downward facing dog. Exhale, rise into downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right foot high. In this position, you want to turn your leg inward. You don't want to turn it out. So your toes and your ball of your foot are what's leading towards the back of the room. With that engaged leg, you're pushing the earth away from you with your arms. And then as you exhale, knee to nose, bring that knee forward, round that spine. Inhale, lift back up. And exhale, knee to right tricep. Lift that leg up once, and then extend that back out to the back of the room. This time we're gonna go right knee to left tricep, and then drag it across the floor and extend it back out. Inhale, bring that leg through. This time land gently into that low lunge, heel, ball, toe. And step out just slightly with that back foot into warrior one position. Drop that back foot 90 degrees. As you come up, you want to square your hips to the front of the room. Tuck that tailbone and then re-engage into that lunge. Your arms rise to center with your gaze facing forward. Inhale those arms down. Step back into plank and lower down into chaturanga, your vinyasa, or skip it all together. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale that left leg high. Again, you're squaring your hips. You don't want that hip to open up. And you're leading with the ball of the foot, pushing away from the earth with your hands. As you inhale, bring that knee to nose, arch that spine, breathe into that back body, and extend back out. Inhale, left knee to left tricep. Give your leg one lift, and then extend that back out. This time, bring left knee to right tricep, and then drag that knee across as you extend it back out. On your next inhale, you're gonna bring that leg fully through into a low lunge, landing heel, ball, toe. Step out just slightly with that back foot, let that heel drop down. And as you rise up, square those hips to the front of the room, tuck that tailbone, re-engage to that lunge, and those arms lift up. Exhale, windmill down, step back into plank, and chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Take one breath here, inhale through your nose, and exhale through your nose. Inhale, tippy toes. And exhale as you look forward, step, hop, jump, front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Lean back, put your weight into the back of those heels. And exhale, come to standing. Give your legs a little shake. We're gonna do that once more, breath to movement. Sorry for my sidekick here. On your next inhale, sit back down into that chair pose. Hey, gross, get out of here. And as you exhale, forward fold, let it hang. Inhale, halfway lift, pull those shoulders away from your ears, flat back. And exhale, step back into plank, chaturanga, or your vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale that right foot high. And exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, back that high. And exhale, right knee to right tricep. Stretch that leg back out. This time, stretch it across to the left side, and then drag that knee back over as you extend it back out. This time, we're stepping all the way through into a low lunge, heel, ball, toe. Step that left back foot out and drop that down. Come up into warrior one. And exhale down. Step back to plank, lower down. I'm gonna do a knee one this time. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, tabletop to downward facing dog. Inhale that left leg high. And exhale, knee to nose. Inhale that leg high. And exhale, left leg to left tricep. Inhale back up. This time on your exhale, left knee to right tricep. Drag it across as you stretch it back out. And bring it on through for that low lunge, landing heel, ball, toe. Dropping that back foot out slightly, dropping that heel down, coming up into warrior one. And drop back down, step back into plank, and lower down, or we'll meet you back down in downward facing dog. Take one breath here, inhale through your nose, and exhale, let it out through your mouth, let it go. Inhale, come to your tippy toes, and exhale, step, hop, jump, front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose, and exhale, hands at side. Give yourself a little shake. We're gonna play a little game of add-on now. So inhale, come back into that chair pose. This time, sink a little bit deeper and engage your arms, interlacing your hands and stretching them out in front of you, or take them behind you, pulling your hands away, your shoulders away from your ears, and sink into that chair pose deeper. We're here for 3, 2, 1. Plant your hands, lower down into Malasana. You may need to step out slightly. You'll see my feet are about a little wider than hip distance apart as you sit down. This is a great place to use a block and sit on it if this doesn't feel good on your knees. You can also put towels in between your legs. And this may be enough just to hang out, or take your hands into a prayer position and leading with your heart, opening up. You're using your hands to, I'll do it this way so you can see me, but you're using your hands to pull your heart forward. Again, use that block as you need to. If you're good in Malasana, stay there. We're also going to work ourselves into crow position. We're in a perfect position to set up for it. So planting your hands in front of you about shoulder distance apart, you'll see your knees are already on the backs of your arms. As you lean forward, you want to keep as much contact with your shins on the back of your arms as possible, letting your knees rest on top of that little armpit crease. So as you lean forward, start to lift one foot up and then the other, and feel that weight. Or if you feel confident, lift both up and start to push up into that crow. When you're ready, step back into plank and into downward facing dog. Inhale that right leg high, And this time open that right hip up, let that knee bend, and open it up just slightly. On your next exhale, bring that foot through, drop it into that heel ball toe, slightly step that back foot out, drop that heel into that warrior one position, and then open up into warrior two. So in warrior one, your feet are kind of on railroad tracks. In warrior two, you're gonna be on a balance beam, you're on one plane. So you wanna tuck your tailbone, you wanna make sure your right knee is tracking over that right foot. And then as your arms extend in equal opposition towards both sides of the room, your gaze faces forward, but every part of your body is engaged in this position. On your next exhale, wrap that back arm, that left arm around your side, trying to reach for that right hip, and extend that left arm up, breathing into that right side body. Recommit to your lunge here, into this reverse warrior. Come back into that warrior two position. We're gonna go into extended side angle. Lean forward as much as possible, and then twist from your midline. This would be a great time to use your block on either side of your foot. I like to use the inside of my leg to push and twist myself open from my midline. So again, recommitting to that lunge, using your inside knee to twist yourself open. Your gaze looks forward. Your left arm's extended to the sky, and pull those muscles down away from your arms. Inhale back up into warrior two position and straighten that front leg. Maybe take a little step in with your back foot. We're gonna extend ourselves forward once more, pop that back hip out, and then again as you exhale, lean forward and twist from your midline as you open up to the side of the room. You can take that half bind if it's within your practice. If a block is more comfortable than using the inside of your leg to push open, please do so. Gently come up out of that position and take another big step in, letting your feet face the front of the mat. They're now back on their railroad tracks. Square your hips to the front of the room and drop that left arm down on a block or next to your right foot as you twist open to the right side of the room, letting your gaze follow that right arm as it extends to the sky. You can put your hand on the back of your sacrum here to square your hips to the back of the room. On your next inhale, step back into that warrior two position. As you come up, we're going to come onto that back foot into a lunge position or a crescent lunge, raising those arms up, or you can always lower down onto your back knee. Bringing our hands into a prayer twist, we're going to extend forward and then hook the outside of that left arm on the outside of your right thigh, allowing yourself to twist open. Whoop. If you don't want to be on your knee, you can extend that back out. You can always take the half bind, trying to get your hands to reach on either side. But again, you're not letting that body rest on that leg. This is an engaged position. And plant your hands to the side of your foot here. Step back into plank and lower down chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take one breath in and let it go. Seal your lips as you inhale again. Lift that left leg forward. And open up that hip to the side of the room. Let it open, let your hip twist a little bit. This time on your next exhale, bring that foot forward. Land gently, heel, ball, toe. Open that back foot out just slightly and drop that heel down as you come up into that warrior one position. Tucking that tailbone, recommitting to your lunge. And then opening up into warrior two. So like we did on the other side, again, you want to make sure your left knee is tracking over your left foot. Your arms are extended in equal opposition. Your tailbone's tucked. Your body, your hips are open to the side of the room, and your gaze is facing forward. Take that back arm and wrap it around your right side, reaching for that left thigh. And extend that left arm back, breathing into that left side body. Gently unwind, come back into that warrior two position. Inhale as you extend forward as much as possible. And then as you exhale, twist from your midline, opening up to the right side of the room, letting your gaze follow that right arm as it stretches up and these arms pull down away. Again, you're using the inside of that left leg to twist yourself open. And gently come back into that warrior two position, straighten that front leg, maybe take a step in with your back foot. Pop that back heel out, that back hip out, excuse me. And then as your next inhale, you're gonna reach forward and exhale, twist from your midline. Again, using a block if that's comfortable, or the inside of your left front leg to twist open to the side of the room. Gently rise up. Take another big step forward. Plant your feet on railroad tracks. Your feet are facing the front of the mat. And wind that right arm down on a block or next to your left foot as you open up to the left side of the room. Step back into that warrior two position. And then flip that back foot so you're in that crescent lunge. Your hips are facing forward. Arms go up and come into that prayer twist. If you did drop down onto the knee, feel free to do so onto the other side. We're gonna inhale as we extend forward and then exhale, hooking that right arm onto the outside of our left leg as we use our arms to twist ourselves open from our midline. If you did so on the other side, you can extend that back leg back out, or even choose to take that bind, trying to get your hands to reach on either side. Gently release, plant your hands back down, step back into that plank position, and lower down, chaturanga or your vinyasa. Exhale, land back down in downward facing dog. And take a couple breaths here to reset. This should be your resting pose. We're gonna actually drop down onto our forearms here into a puppy pose or dolphin. This may be enough just here, or you may wanna work into your forearm stand today. If you have a wall, that may be easier just psychologically if you do wanna try it. But again, going into the same position as what we had with our hands, talking about creating that pocket, engaging your fingertips, you want to pull back at the same time that you're kicking up as we move into this position. So as you find yourself with your arms about shoulder distance apart, your hands are engaged, start to walk your feet to your body as much as possible. Lift one leg up, and then the other, and just play with that. That might be enough for now, and just feel that. Or start to push and kick up. We've got a few seconds to play here. If you're not on a wall, or even if you are, I also find it helpful to create a basket to hold my head in, and then to push up into that forearm stand. You can pull back against your head at the same time that you're using it as balance, so it's that equal opposition. So again, keeping your elbows shoulder distance apart, doing the same thing as you lift up. It's a lot easier for me to hop up and then push up. But practice makes progress, right? When you're ready, we'll meet in downward dog. On your next inhale, whoosh your hands to the back of the mat and grab onto your big toes. Maybe take your stance a little bit wider than hip distance apart. And as you inhale, holding onto your toes, you're gonna lead with your heart as you come into that half lift. And then lower down, forward fold. Let your feet massage your wrists a little bit, step on your hands there. On your next inhale, again, lifting up, pulling away as much as you're pulling forward. And then gently release your hands, exhale, forward fold, let it go. Inhale, slowly rise, vertebrae by vertebrae. Roll your shoulders down away from your ears. Come up to your tippy toes and walk yourself to the front of the mat gently. And then take one big step out to the left into Prasarita. So your feet are going to be facing the side of the room, both directions. And then with a flat back, leading with the back of your hips towards the back of the room, just go ahead and bend forward, stretching that back side body. I have very tight hamstrings, so I never get very far in these positions, but they're so good for you. You can rock side to side, reach for your left foot, and then reach for your right. This is a fun time to get upside down into a headstand if you want. We've got some time here. Again, you can plant your hands right here, let your head fall forward, and then let yourself kick up. When you're ready, we're gonna go ahead down to our knees, keeping your feet flexed. You're gonna start to let your legs open up, keeping your feet flexed again, protecting those ligaments. And then just let your natural body weight pull your center down. We've got a few breaths here to just hang out. And just let yourself breathe into those parts that feel tight. See if you can relax those areas that are straining and tensing against this position. On your next inhale, push yourselves up. Gently wiggle your knees closer together and push back up into Prasarita. Your feet are facing the side of the room. We're gonna bend our knee and keep that left leg straight as we come into Skandasana. This again, you can always use a block between your sit. You can put a towel between your knee. The end goal is to have your heel touching the ground, but mine is not. So again, keep this foot flexed here, and you wanna pull it towards you. So straighten it, you're pulling it down and towards your body. And then if you've got that balance, come into those prayer hands, leading with your heart. On our next inhale, we're gonna lower that left foot down to the ground, keeping it flexed. Again, the same action of pulling it down towards our body, engaging that leg and those muscles. And then extending that foot back out. Gently push yourself onto the other side. Again, keeping that right foot flexed, pulling it back towards you, coming into those prayer hands. And then keeping that foot flexed, letting that left foot fall down. And raising it back up. Come back to center, Prasarita. We're gonna move into our center splits. So start to wiggle your heel toes out until you can't go anymore. And let the weight of your body pull you down gently. Do not overdo this. Keep your feet flexed. Wherever you're at is perfectly fine. Maybe you're super flexible and you're in the splits right now. That's amazing. Maybe you're up where I am too, and that's progress. Breathe into those spots that feel tight. And on your next inhale, start to wiggle those toes back together. We're gonna twist to the front of the room here and lower down onto that back knee. Maybe extend it a little further out so that you sit onto the top part of that knee, not the middle of it. And again, taking your hands, pushing into that right knee. Make sure your knee isn't tracking over your toes. And we're breathing and stretching this psoas muscle here. You can keep your toes flexed. You can't really see it in the camera for me, but that's helping me to stay balanced while I'm pushing on my hands with both of my hands. On your next exhale, straighten that front leg and flex that foot. We're gonna pull that leg back towards the back of the room, squaring our hips to the mat. At the same time that you're gonna lead forward with your heart chakra. So you're pulling your heart forward at the same time that you're pulling that back leg back towards your body. Breathe into those areas that feel tight. And on your next inhale, come back down into that low lunge. Again, stretching that psoas muscle. And once more into those half splits. Exhale, flex that front foot, pull it back towards you as you lead with your heart pulling forward, pressing forward. If you have a block or two blocks, you can put them here so that you can have more of a flat back. We're gonna start to move into those right side splits. So start to crawl that front foot forward. Unflip that back knee and start to lower that back knee down. And again, just let your natural body weight drag you down. If you've got your blocks, this would be great to hold them right here. You can always put them underneath your sit if you're close enough. We're here for 5 breaths. Come back to the focus of your breath. Come back to the intention of your practice, of why you're here, of why you're giving yourself the time and the energy on the mat. Giving yourself the time and energy that you deserve. On your next inhale, I want you to drag this front heel back towards you. You're protecting those ligaments. You might mess up your mat, but that way you protect your knee as you pull it back into place. Give your leg maybe a little wiggle there. And then extend that left leg out. Gently wiggle that toe out so that your knee doesn't track over that foot. Again, make sure you come on to that front part of that back knee and push into that left front leg as you breathe and stretch out that right psoas muscle. On your next exhale, flex that front foot, straighten that leg. Lead with your heart as you press forward and then pull that leg back towards the back of the mat, squaring your hips. Flat back, use your blocks as you need to. Inhale, crawl yourself forward into that low lunge half moon. Push into that front leg again, breathing into that right psoas. And once more into those half splits. Exhale, straighten that front leg, flex that foot. Lead with your heart as you pull that left hip back. You know where we're going. So go ahead and start to itch that left foot forward. Extend that back knee, start to lower down. Let yourself fall gently into the position. You can use your blocks to support you as you need to. We're here for 5 breaths. Find comfort in the uncomfortable. Breathe patience into those areas that feel tight. See if you can relax it and lower just that incremental bit more down. Wherever you're at is amazing because you're taking the effort and being conscious about the movement with your body, the energy and the intention that you have. On your next inhale, we're going to drag that front foot back to meet our back coming into that tabletop position. And give yourself a little shake side to side. Push into that downward facing dog. And then look forward as you step, hop, jump front of the mat. Rise to mountain, gently stacking vertebrae by vertebrae. Roll those shoulders down, tuck that tailbone. We're going to put our weight into our left leg here as we rise our right leg up, square your hips, and lower down to grab onto those heels. This may be enough here, or if you can, start to straighten up and then extend that foot out. Another great alternative is to just hold your knee here and practice with a flat back. If you are grabbing onto that foot, again, just start to bring your focus, find a spot in the room. We're going to grab onto the inner side of that right foot, whoop, and extend it out to the side using this left arm as a counterbalance. Again, you can always grab the side of your knee if that's easier or more comfortable. Extend that front foot out to the front of the room again, that right foot. And leave it up in the air as you move your hands to your sides. We're there for 3, 2, 1. Lower down, give it a shake. Again, put that weight into your right foot and lift that left knee up, squaring your hips. Lean forward, grabbing onto that left heel, and then straightening up, finding your balance, and starting to extend that left foot out in front of you. Holding onto your knee is a perfect alternative. And once you've found your balance, not like me, grab on to the inside of that left foot and start to move it out to the side, using that left arm as a counterbalance, that right arm, excuse me. One side might feel totally different than the other, and that's just our yin and our yang. Bring that front foot forward, extend it out in front of you. Put your hands on your hips. We're here for 3, 2, 1. Lower down, shake it out. We're gonna lower down into Malasana again. And this time, just sit down on your booty. Bending your right knee, and then taking this left knee and crossing it over. We're gonna plant our left hand down and then extend. As we inhale, we're gonna lengthen our spine. And exhale as we hook our right arm on our left leg and twist. So we extend up first before we ever start to twist back. Gently unbind yourself. You're gonna plant your hands on your right side and step where your feet are now and just do a full 180. Keep twisting around and let that left knee fall first. Let that right foot come on the outside of your left knee, and you should find yourself on the other side. Plant that right hand down, and again, inhale as you lengthen your spine and stretch up. Exhale as you hook that left arm and twist to the back. Lengthening first and then twisting back. Gently unwind. Again, planting your hands, push up and twist around. And this time, just kick your legs out in front of you. Pull your sits bones away from your sits. This is just so that you're tilting your pelvis forward. We're gonna inhale our arms high and exhale with a flat back to reach for our feet. Again, the flat back is more important. We're leading with our heart as we're pulling forward. And then you can start to unbend your knees if that works for you. Otherwise, the flat back is more important. Inhale as you rise, and exhale, lower down onto your forearms behind you. We're gonna lead with our front body here as we inhale, lifting up. Again, you're not flexing your glutes to lift, you're lifting yourself from the front of your core. So keeping your shoulders under your, keeping your elbows under your shoulders. Inhale as you push up, lifting from that core, from that front body. Pulling those shoulders away from your ears and gently lower down. We're going to do that once more. Inhale, lift up with that front body, push up, and gently lower down. Come back into that seated position and open up into a straddle. Again, tilting that pelvis forward, so sometimes it helps to remove your butt out from under you. Inhale your arms high. And exhale, lower to the right side. Again, leading with the heart. We're gonna drop our right arm to the inside of our right leg and twist open from our midline as we let this left arm reach over and breathe into that left side body. Inhale back up. Turn to the left and lower down. Lead with your heart as you pull yourself forward and then let yourself relax and fold. Again, as we did on the other side, we're going to drop our left arm to the inside of our left leg. And as we twist open from our midline, we're going to let that right arm stretch across. Breathing into that right side body, stretching, seeing if you can breathe into every rib cage muscle. Inhale back to center. Now we're going to do some mula bandhas. They're fun and hard. I'll demonstrate first and then I'll have you try it yourself. So you're going to plant your hands on either side of your legs here and then lean forward so your arms are bent. Once you're in this position, you're going to push up, lifting your seat away from the earth, and then trying to lift one leg and then the other and maybe both. So again, you're gonna plant your hands, lean forward with those bent arms, push the earth away, and then try and lift one up, lift the other, maybe lift both. You can try it without lifting your butt up. It's still just as hard. My hip flexors start to scream almost immediately doing this, but it's amazing practice for targeted, localized muscle engagement. Once you've had it out on that side, give yourself a good little shake and plant your hands on the other side. We've got the left side to do. So again, planting your hands on the other side, leaning forward so your arms are bent, pushing the earth away from you, and then lifting those feet up one at a time. Or maybe you try both. Maybe you try it seated and see how much higher you can get your legs. Play around with it, you've got a few more seconds. And then give yourself a good little shake. Close your legs together and pull this right leg into you. We're gonna reach around our outside of our leg, trying to reach around us, and then take this left arm and try and meet that other hand. If you can connect, go ahead and lean up and start to straighten that spine and rock that leg like a little baby behind you. Lower down and gently unwind. Maybe do a little counter twist here if you want. Again, you need to engage and inhale as you strengthen and then twist back behind you. And switch, extend that right foot out, bring that left foot forward. Reach around the front of your leg and reach that arm back, trying to reach that right hand to meet it. And then inhale as you extend up, rocking that baby. And lowering down. Let that leg kick up. And if you're on your mat, let yourself fall open. Rock into a bow pose. Extend those feet out in front of you. You can use your hands here to hold on to your knees. You can extend your hands out, or you can always set your feet down, keeping that flat back. We're gonna lower ourselves down and then snap back into that position wherever you're holding. So lower yourself down for 3, 2, 1, and snap back. We've got 2 more, lower down and snap back. And last one, and snap back. Go ahead and lower down and roll onto your stomach. We've got 3 rolling cobras and then some floor bow. So this first round, you want to keep your feet on the ground. And as you lift up, imagine there's that imaginary string pulling your neck up, so you're leading from the back of your neck. And then pulling your arms away, squeezing your shoulders together and lifting up. And gently lower yourself down. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, lower down. This time, lift your feet and your arms. You want to just squeeze and lift up as much as possible. Everything, squeezing your shoulders together, lifting your hips up, and lower down. Bend your legs so that you can grab the outside of your ankles. And before we push up into this position, again, there's a counterbalance here. So as we kick up with our legs, we're gonna pull towards our legs at the same time. So you're kicking away at the same time that you're pulling your arms up. So as you inhale, keep your knees hip distance apart. Kick into the backs of those legs and pull yourself up at the same time. Inhale, we're here for 3, 2, 1. Gently lower down, rock your feet into windmill, back and forth. And plant your hands down, pushing into a kneeled position. Keeping your hands about your knees about 2 fists apart. We're gonna move into camel pose here. So you can flip your feet so that your feet are up. We wanna protect our back first and foremost. So do whatever feels comfortable to you. It may be enough to just hold onto your sacrum here and start to track your gaze up, pulling those shoulders away from your ears as you start to lean back, leading with your heart. Or if it's within your practice and you can reach those little heelys, grab with those heels, and again, breathing into that front side body, keeping that neck facing forward, protecting that neck, and lead with your heart. We're here for a couple breaths. And then as a counterbalance, gently come forward, arching your spine. Grab onto the backs of your heels here, and then start to pull forward until you can really round that spine and breathe into it. You don't need to put your head on the mat. You just need to pull forward and breathe into that backside body. Plant your hands and step back into that downward facing dog. We're gonna come into a side position here. You can always drop your knee down, or if it's within your practice, you can lift that foot up, or even start to bend it and track it behind you, trying to grab on, engaging that front arm, pushing away from the earth, engaging your core. You can flip that into that wild thing, flip your dog, and then gently come back into downward facing dog to reset. Moving over to the left side plank. Again, you can always drop that knee, or if it's within your practice, straighten both legs out, lift that leg to the sky, or bend it and start to reach back for it. Flip that dog, breathe into that side body, and then gently come back into downward facing dog. Inhale that right leg high, and exhale, bring it forward into half pigeon. So again, you want to square your shin to the front of the mat as best as possible, and then let that back knee fall down. Before you sleep your pigeon, look to your right side. This helps to square your hips to the front of the room. And then go ahead and lower down. Let yourself sink deep into your hips here. Again, send breath into those areas that feels tight, and just let yourself relax here. Find comfort in the uncomfortable. If you want to play around in this position while everyone's in sleeping pigeon, gently push yourself back up. You can bend that back knee and start to reach back with that left arm. If this feels good, you can start to move that foot into that elbow crease and hang here, or eventually start to work that arm back into king pigeon. We're here for a few more breaths. I also like to take my left arm and go into kind of that threaded your needle. It really helps so that you stay in position. When you're ready, gently push yourself back up, flip that back foot, and push into that three-legged dog. Give your leg a little shake. Woo. And come back into that downward facing dog. Extend that left leg out behind you. And then pull it through into that half pigeon on the other side. Again, squaring your shin to the front of the mat, letting your knee fall down. Look to the left side, square your hips to the front of the room, and then go ahead and sleep that pigeon. Again, breathe into your hips where it feels tight. See if you can let yourself lower down just incrementally more. Let yourself relax just a little bit more and send your breath to those areas. If you did so on the other side and you want to try king pigeon on this side, go ahead and push yourself back up. Bend that back knee and take that right arm and reach back trying to grab on. This may be enough, or if you can, go ahead and put that foot into your elbow crease and then eventually lift up, reaching for that back arm. I am significantly more tight on this side today, so I'm not even going to try that. We're here for a few more breaths. If you're still in sleeping pigeon, push yourself back up. Flip that back foot and push into that three-legged dog. Give that left leg a little shake. And come back down into downward facing dog. Take one breath here collectively. Inhale through your nose. And exhale, let it go through your mouth. Inhale, come to your tippy toes, look forward. And exhale, step, hop, jump to the front of the mat. We're gonna sit down and gently lower down vertebrae by vertebrae. Keep your knees bent here. We're gonna cue one round of bridge and one round of wheel. So with your knees bent here, you wanna be able to graze your heels with your fingertips. You're gonna push up again, leading with the front of your core, and then interlacing your hands behind your bum once you lift up, and coming onto your chicken wings, your angel wings as you do so. So again, interlacing your hands, keeping your knees hip distance apart, lift from your front line, come onto your chicken wings, pull your arms down away from your ears, breathing into your front body, engaging your core. Keeping your chin tucked is great here to protect your neck. And then gently lower down. Maybe windmill your legs a little bit. You can bring them into your chest for a little squeeze. We're gonna cue wheel, or you can go into another round of bridge. Keeping your feet about the same distance as they were. Again, keeping your knees hip distance apart. You're gonna plant your hands on either side of your head. Before you lift up, you're gonna come onto the crown of your head, and then lifting with your side body, you're gonna push up, breathing into that front body. So again, coming onto your crown, and then lifting up, breathing into that front body. Inhale and push up away from the earth. And exhale, gently lower down. Pull your knees into your chest. And then lower that left leg down, keeping that right knee pulled in. Pull it into your right side body, squeeze tight. And then pull it across your left side, letting your gaze fall to the right. Your shoulders should both be on the mat. So if they're not, pull back just a little bit. You can always put a block underneath your knee here. That feels really good. Try and slow down your breath. Come back to your breathing. Inhale, bring that knee back to center. Bring both knees in. Give them a good squeeze. And lower that right leg down, squeezing that left leg into that left side body. And then pulling it across, letting your gaze fall to the left side. On your next inhale, bring your knees back into your chest. Give them a good squeeze. And then extend those legs out in front of you. You can put a block underneath your sacrum here and just let your legs hang. That feels amazing. Get that lactic acid out of there. Or with your arms around your sides, right at your hips here, you're gonna push up into a shoulder stand. You can then bend your arms to give your lower back some support. But again, keep your knee tucked, your chin tucked in this position. You're protecting your neck. If this feels good, you can drop into plow, letting those legs fall behind you.
Or bend your knees and let your knees fall to your ears. Gently push back up into shoulder plow and lower down vertebrae by vertebrae. Give yourself one more squeeze. Engage everything. Squeeze yourself and thank yourself so much for all the hard work. And then exhale and relax and let your body fall out to the sides. Tuck your tailbone once more and let your hips fall open. Let your knees roll out. Let your feet relax, your toes relax. Your feet and your legs are sinking into the earth. Tuck your angel wings once more and let your arms and your shoulders fall open. Let your hands relax. Let your fingertips relax. Let your jaw fall open. Remove the tongue from the roof of your mouth. Let your eyelids relax. Close your eyes. Feel your hair relax and just sink, falling around your face into the earth around you. And just come back to your breath, back inside. Take some introspection on how you're feeling, and then let it go and just relax into the moment. Shavasana can sometimes be the hardest. To find calm and presence in the stillness. We've got chaos around us with dogs and school and work, family and friends, and it's important that we take this time for ourselves to take that reset. And again, to give ourselves that intention and that energy that we deserve. Before you start to move again, start to just send awareness into your toes and into your fingertips. Maybe you move one finger joint at a time and start to wiggle your toes. Start to move your fingers and roll your wrists. Roll your ankles. And then when you're ready, extend your arms to the sky. Stretch as wide as you can. And then roll over to your left or right side, laying on your arm as an armrest. Bringing your knees into your chest, into a fetal position. Pally's demonstrating too. Keep your eyes closed as you gently push yourself up into a seated position. We're going to take a few collective breaths here. I'm going to get in front of my trusty sidekick. So keeping your eyes closed, come into a seated, comfortable position. I love you too. On your next inhale, we're going to breathe in for 4 and then let it out through your mouth. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale, let it out for 4. Inhale, breathe in. And exhale, let it go. On your next inhale, breathe in for 4. And then take an extra sip of breath at the top and hold it. Hold it for 2 more seconds. And let it go. We inhale our arms to third eye center, and we bow to seal our practice. To honor the light that we see within ourselves and honor the light that which we see within you is recognizing that it is one and the same. Namaste.